All right, let's get started. Okay. Please tell me if my mic sounds okay because I got a new microphone and I don't know if the settings are okay or not. Ooh, that was very loud. Okay. Ah, 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 ah. Doing the Bluey theme tune. Okay, hopefully that works. Right, okay. Uh-huh, that sounds much better. That looks better. We're in the yellow and the green. That's perfect. Right. Avatar's working. Splits are ready to go. All right, let's do some Worldless. Let's get some commentary going. Actually, before we start, let's be sensible. Have a quick sip of the beverage. Make sure I'm hydrated and all that jazz. Okay. All right, let's get ready to go then. In 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, 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 hello. So, hi everyone. I'm Lady Smaell, and this is Worldless. So, first thing we're going to do is skip a cutscene because that's always handy when you're trying to speedrun. So this is a 2D Metroidvania developed by No Name Studio and published by Coatsink. As you can see, it's quite stylized and minimalistic in its looks, although it is still quite beautiful. And we are just running through our first tutorial area with our protagonist, who goes by the name of Edda. Basic story is the universe has come into being through a big bang of some description. And when that big bang has occurred, there have been two warring factions created, which you can sort of see in the background there. The blue faction, which Edda belongs to, and the orange faction, which is basically our enemies at this point. So this area is just a basic sort of tutorial, sort of teaches you how to traverse, jump, the usual sort of standard Metroidvania physics. Unlike a lot of Metroidvanias, unfortunately, jumping is not faster in this, which is why I'm just running along. It is ever so slightly slower. So it's a case of we only jump when we really need to. And then we're just going to come along to this section with the beautiful dynamic pan-in, and we are going to face our rival, who is called Haven. So this is the gimmick of this game. Unlike a lot of Metroidvanias where you level up like through progression and stuff, in this game you level up by having one-on-one fights with enemies. Bit kind of Devil May Cry with the combos and stuff. So I'm just going to let Avon wail on me a little bit here. This is a scripted fight. You can't actually beat him. So he's just going to wail on us until our bar in the bottom left corner is full. And then he's going to try to do something called absorbers, which is our main source of getting stronger in this game. So something went a bit wrong. We sort of kind of fused with our rival Avon, and because of this, it's caused a sort of transcendence in the world and is causing the world to expand. So we are getting our actual map. So you can see that it looks like there's like a central hub area, and then each of them sort of spread out. All of the sections are interconnected. So once all the pathways are unlocked, you can literally run from one section of the map to the other with no problem. But at the start, not all the pathways are unlocked. So we're just going to have a little bit of cutscene here. This is one of the old ones who's been around since before the Big Bang, or before this particular Big Bang. I think it's kind of implied that there's been more than one. And he's going to teach us our resonate ability, which allows us to interact with objects in the world. So there's a few areas that have specific gimmicks that will require you to use this ability to help like traverse. So he's basically a little bit jealous that the elder entity that created the Big Bang has sort of taken notice of us because of what happened with Avon. So he's a little bit jealous, and he's basically, yeah, like, just why did they notice you? Really, really kind of annoyed. So we're just gonna go once again into the map. This has shown us how the sort of like the objectives work. So as you can notice, the language is in Chinese. I clearly am not speaking Chinese, so that is because it is the fastest language. Like a lot of games, Japanese and Chinese are faster because there's less characters, it's more concise, quicker to render. So that's why. It doesn't save a lot of time throughout the run, but it saves a little bit. They've just done that opening cutscene. It saves about 5 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. So it's not insignificant, but over the course of the entire run, it's not huge. So here's our first actual encounter. So this is the tutorial boss for the defense mechanisms in this game. So like Dark Souls, the game wants you to defend and parry. So Edda has 2 types of block. She has a physical block and a magical block. So that's the physical block tutorial. There is a magical block tutorial coming up as well. But that was our first skill point. We're not going to spend any skill points just yet. And there is a good reason for that, but it's a little bit of a spoiler down for later in the run, so I'm not going to explain the exact of why we aren't spending them immediately. So this is Moon. This is the magic defense tutorial. Okay, and there we go. So you might have noticed on Moon there, it had like a thunderbolt in a circle. So that's what we call blocks in the game. So the aim of the game is to get the absorption rate up to a point where we can absorb the enemy and get the skill points. Enemies have different thresholds, but if you have break all the blocks on an enemy, it ups the amount of absorption damage they take. So where possible, we obviously want to like push up that absorption. So we've just got our first movement ability, that is dash. So as you can see, very handy for traversal. Gives us both vertical and horizontal movement. It has a little bit of a cooldown, so you've kind of got to time them well. Especially when you like do from a horizontal into a vertical. It does happen quite a bit. So I'm just gonna go along here. So just doing a little jump that skips that sort of section. We don't have to go around and hit all the glowy orbs that produce our platforms, which is the gimmick for this area. So just taking the shortcuts where we can, kind of thing. So just dashing through this section. So you might have already noticed that like this game is very stylized and very relaxed. I mean, some of the fights can get very intense, but like overall it is a very sort of kind of relaxed run. It's a nice, very relaxed game. Music's very nice to just listen to when you just want to relax and be chilled. I know I'm saying relax a lot, but yeah. So we're just going to dash through this section. So I'm going to pick up this sort of grey triangle to get an upgrade. So this is the only only upgrade of this type we're getting in the run, and it is a time upgrade for in your fights. So it gives us about an extra second in a fight, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it makes a lot of things actually possible. So it's super, super awesome. So we've got that. We're now going to keep chasing our friend Avon. Well, I say friend, our rival. And we're going to go to this area, which we call Green Path. So the gimmick of this area is there are portals, keystones that unlock portals. So we're just going to sort of work our way up. There's a lot of verticality in this area, so having dash is very handy. Otherwise, it would just be impossible. I'm just going to take on this little guy. This is Araman. So there's very much a risk versus reward. So obviously we want to get the absorption above that line as fast as possible. But obviously, as you just saw there, if you get it early, you only get like a certain number of inputs revealed, and all the inputs in the game are random. There's no pattern. So it is very much, there's a fair bit of RNG. You can sort of notice like maybe patterns with the types. So say you'd have like one triangle, one X, and then two triangles. Those sort of patterns kind of do seem to like reoccur in your runs. But it's not always guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination. We're just going to go up here. So it's going to skip through this waterfall. So Eda does not like water, which hopefully we won't see. Hopefully I won't mess up. So it is technically possible to skip this fight, but it requires a triple frame perfect trick, which is just like not viable at all at the moment. No one's been able to find a consistent setup. So yeah, we don't do it. We just do this fight instead. You know, it is a fair bit slower. So when we've just gone across the waterfall, we've actually skipped a fight and an ability. So as you can notice, this guy's got an ice block. So we don't have ice. That's the ability we've skipped. And at this point, it's not super detrimental, but it can become a little bit of a hindrance later on. Not to the point where we can't complete the game, just it loses some time potentially if we're unlucky. I'm gonna do a little skip here. Don't really want to wait around for portals, and you know, going through the portals is a little bit slower than just being able to dash. Go. Very nice. So a nice little cutscene here showing Avon and Eda sort of being connected still. Okay, so we've just got our second movement upgrade. This is sprint, which kind of makes sense really. So allows Eda to traverse across water. So water's still not a bit of a hindrance for her, but not a total hindrance. And we're just going to sprint to the other side of the area to head through to the next section, which is where Avon's hiding. So this is where we came in. I'm going to run across. So obviously there's more to this area than just the bit we're going through, but this is the fastest route. Coming up to another fight. This is kind of a cutscene fight, but we figured out a way to make the cutscene trigger faster than it's meant to, so saves us about 8 to 10 seconds. Here we go. We see our friend summoned. So this big green gentleman is the super boss of this game. Obviously, we don't see it in any percent, but we do in 100%, and the all orbs category. So his fight is exceptionally technical and really, really testing knowledge of how the game rolls, basically. So we're just going to run through into this section. This is the tower. Unfortunately, this is the only time we see it in any percent, which is a real pity because it's a really fun area. There's a lot of fun platforming and some really, really fun and challenging but fun fights. And there's some like really cool enemy designs in that section. Hit and dash, and it just is what to do. Yeah, that's the gimmick of this area is the upwards range. All right, so this is wind elemental. So I'm doing something called animation cancel there. So I can, it basically allows me to spam magic. Okay. Cool, got the one round, nice. Basically allows me to spam magic really quickly. So which is really good for breaking shields when you don't have like the big level, like, cause you get tiered magic and you don't get like the level 3 tier in any percent. You just basically get your basic level 1 and hope for the best. So the spam really allows a lot of makes it a lot easier to just break down magical shields if you've obviously got the magic. As I said, we don't have ice, which can, like I said, potentially cause us some issues a little bit later. Okay, so I'm gonna run along here and we're gonna meet back up with Avon. So there's two ways to do this fight. You can fight or you can just talk it out. And we're just gonna talk it out because it's way quicker. Nice and simple. If you do fight in this one, there is actually a slightly different cutscene. Edda will approach Avon with a sword and try and skewer him, but the rain has returned and spirited Edda away, and now we have control of Avon. So he is our second protagonist, and he is the reason we have not used any skill points, because we are going to give them all to him. He's going to be our main battler. He has a very wide range of abilities. His defense is a bit different to Edda. He just gets a defend ability, but he has the ability to deflect damage back to enemies as absorption, which comes in really handy. He also has a secondary weapon, the whip. The game sort of expects you to have certain abilities when you meet up with Avon for the second time, so it gives you the equivalent. So we get both sets of Avon's magic and his whip ability, which are really, really useful. Okay, so that's all we need. Avon pretty much set up for most of the game. Didn't think I'd made that jump, that was nice. So Avon likes to get his hands dirty. Okay, nice. So it's always very dicey when you only have 2 inputs to put in, but been quite lucky so far. So we've met back up with Edda. Weirdly, I know I said earlier that jumping isn't quicker. It's not quicker for Edda, but it is quicker for Avon because his double jump gives him a little bit of a speed boost, a little bit of a push forward. So we met back up with Edda. We sort of accepted each other, and that acceptance has caused yet another fusion and transcendence, and the map is now expanding further. So here comes the main sort of bulk of the game. There are 3 bosses that have just been unlocked, the transcended bosses, which are denoted by those green orbs. We've now got to go defeat them. So now we have control of both our protagonists, and there's quite a lot of nice little movement things we can do. Obviously, we can switch between both of them. That's not just like in traversal, that is in fights as well. Which is super lovely. Okay, that's really nice. So there's Avon's deflect ability I mentioned. There we go, and that's that guy down. So yeah, as stated, like Avon is our main fighter right now. We will be giving Edda some abilities a bit later, but not just yet. What am I doing? Always forget that I can't just dash through that one. You just want to go fast and it just doesn't want to work. Alright, I'm going to try and get a cheeky glitch. I probably won't get it because it is very much a frame perfect thing. But if we swap characters on this cutscene that's about to trigger, it's too early. When the second character comes in, you get 2 of the same character, and it's quite funny. I've managed to pull it off once by pure accident. That's how I know it's a thing. But yeah. So now we've got both our protagonists. We're going to go back to Green Path, and we're going to go and fight the first transcended boss, which is bipolar, also known as duality. So we used to do this boss second, but I kind of started doing this one first because of something you get after this boss, which makes the next transcended boss a lot quicker. Still kind of dangerous, but it's a lot quicker. I'm just gonna skip over here. So the only difference sort of is this little bit of traversal. There's another ability that you get a little bit later on that allows you to grab those orange points. Okay, fine. So this is Holy Bat. Okay, good, yes. So hopefully this will go nicely. So the transcended bosses are a little bit like Edda and Avon, where there's a light form and a dark form that's come together. So this sort of route we're taking is actually a back door. You're not meant to be able to access it. And in the current patch of this game, this has actually been like patched out. Let's quickly give Edda her power-ups. So yeah, there's a few things, which to be fair, I understand. It's totally understandable why it's been patched out. Because it actually stops you from exploring an entire section of the area. And obviously the devs want you to sort of explore the game, which to there, it is totally fair that it's done. Right. Okay, so he gave us ice. It's not detrimental, but it's just a little bit annoying. Ideally, okay, that's fine. Okay. That'll do. And obviously on these bosses, the bars go up a lot faster, so you don't have as much reaction time. But still not a bad bipolar. Not too bad. Ideally, you want that sort of fire, physical fire block first. I did not mean to do that. Whoops. Okay, head it down. So we're now going to go back to the first area we started in, the blue area. That's because it's the only path to the actual area we need to get to. And we're going to go run right through, pick up a couple of skill points, and pick up a weapon, Ed's secondary weapon. So, like I said, Avon's got his whip. Ed also gets a secondary weapon, which is the bow. It's minorly out of the way, like route-wise, but it's so infinitely useful that it's worth that extra 5 or 10 seconds just to pick it up. Because if you didn't have it, the run would just be miserable at points. Okay, so we're going to get our bow. Now we're going to go do some traversal underwater with it, Avon. So it did used to be that we'd carry on going right there and work our way up through a different way, but kind of figured out that this route was quicker. Meant we lost some skill points along the way, so the route's kind of been optimized for exactly what you need. Although there is a little bit of wiggle room, depends what you want. There's maybe 1 or 2 skill points that are spare by the end of the run, so it's just what our preference is. Just doing a little bit of platform puzzling. There we go, and we're going to just run into our next fight here, which is Roots. Going for the 1 round. Didn't get it. Oh well, that's fine. So just get it up. There we go. And we're going to get our final movement ability, which is Snatch, which anyone who's played Ori or Guacamelee 2 will instantly recognize. Basically bash or eagle shot, depending on your game preference. I admit I am definitely a Guacamelee fan, so I tend to call it eagle shot in my head. obviously want to try and keep jumps as low as possible. Oh, not there though. That didn't go well. Whoopsies. So yeah, we're just going to run along here. So we're going to do Edda a quick upgrade again to give her her bow technique and to get the ability we got from Bipolar. So we've got this green ability here, which is called Unified Division. Basically, each of the characters gets charge techniques. I think I've shown off like Avon's whip one quite a lot, which is the main one we use. So it basically gives us a big sword, and that is a perfect start. So this guy, as you can see, he has blocks. One of those blocks can be ice, and we have no means of breaking it, which is an absolute nightmare. See if we can get it. Okay, we are good. Use our Unified Division. Okay, please, 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 be nice. Dang it. Nice. So that boss is adaptation, and basically I call them Fantoon, like in honor of the Super Metroid boss, who is RNG the boss. Adaptation is very much in that vein because not only is that block at the start completely random, once you break into that green phase where you can absorb him, the shield he gives you is also completely random. So I got the unoptimal shield there, believe it or not. So yeah, he gave me the unoptimal shield, but it all went quite well, thankfully. So we're just going to run along here. Use a little exploit there. So as we said, Edda's definitely allergic to water. Occasionally you can use it in your favor to push you a little bit further along, but for the most part, it doesn't really do it. So head into the storm area. So I'm just going to quickly spend that green skill point from adaptation because it really helps in the next couple of fights. Oh, it does help if I remember to get the keystone. Okay, so this is acid. So the ability I just got is called Assist, which allows your partner to come in once every round and do some damage, which is really handy because it can help break shields. Okay, just mispushed the button. Just gonna absorb. All right, let's go. So we're coming up to my favorite fight in the game. So this is Halo. This is a kind of a skill check in this game because you can actually encounter him really early. Because you can get to him once you've got sprint, which is like quite early on. He's also the first multi-stage fight you get in the game. Come on, hit me with magic. Perfect. Yeah, not taking that. Don't be stupid. And that was a very good Halo. Halo hits that enemy hits exceedingly hard. And obviously the multi-stage is the first one in the game, and you're not expecting it necessarily. Whereas with like even with the like transcendent bosses, it is a case of you absorb them and they're done. There is like a couple of other bosses where it happens, but that's later on in the game and different areas. There's like more post-game stuff. So we go from my favorite enemy in the game to my least favorite. I really dislike this enemy. It's called Tombury, which if anyone who likes Final Fantasy will instantly fear that name. And it has a very similar gimmick. I was hammering buttons there and nothing happened. What is going on? Controller. My controller's just died. Why has my controller just died? That was not ideal. That was really not ideal. Thank you, game. We got that there. Are you kidding me, game? Sorry about this. Like, my controller just decided to die and just didn't want to work. That was really strange. Anyway, yeah, I don't like that enemy. If he manages to reach you, he will just eject you from the fight and you have to do the whole thing over again. And you just don't get it. It took me a very long time to figure him out. So yeah, he's not a pleasant enemy by any means. Luckily, you only have to fight one of them in any percent. Because he does occur, there are two of them in the game, and that's just not fun. And the second one, you don't have access to Edda at all because it's underwater. So that really helps as well. Yay, I got that jump. I'm struggling with that jump recently. I don't know why. Okay, so final boss is called Yin Yang. And like the other bosses, got two phases, two states. And that's it, isn't it? That's all I need. No, it isn't. I just messed up. Oh well. Okay, let's hope I didn't mess up too badly. Oh, this is so bad. Oh, got lucky. Got lucky. Okay. All right. So, beat yin yang. Sorry, no, I wasn't talking about much there. I kind of messed my setup up a little bit. But it is what it is. So we defeated the 3 transcended bosses, and then so the sky has been progressively cracking more as we've defeated those bosses, and now we've basically unlocked the final encounter. So that big glowy ball is the creator essentially in this game. So this area is actually meant to be shrouded in darkness, but we kind of did a glitch at the start of it. One of the only glitches in the game that allows you to skip the darkness trigger point, and you can just go through and not have to worry about it instead of activating all the glowy lights, which is super useful. So yeah, we're just going on to the final encounter now. For some reason that I don't understand, Ed does not have her sprint here. You can't go fast. The fastest way to move is even doing his double jump. And we are going to go through a very beautiful but kind of alarming field of, well, let's put it bluntly, they're spears. That is a lot of spears. As we saw, our friends have been, one of our old one friends have been skewered. And we're heading straight towards the source. So, yeah. Okay. So this is the Worldless. This is the being that created the universe we're in, created the Big Bang. And we can literally do nothing to him. Literally nothing. He has infinite absorption, meaning you can't touch him. Infinite health, infinite absorption. You cannot do a thing to him. So this is very much. It is a cutscene boss. He's talking to us, saying that basically he's not happy with what's happened between us and Edda. Basically saying we're rejects. They need to be destroyed. Hence the big shiny spear that's forming above its head right now, or its matter. So yeah, that's fun. So yeah, Wells is kind of hell bent on destroying us right now. And then obviously we're not alone in this. Our lovely partner comes in to save our backside. Admittedly, kind of unsuccessfully. So now he's like, I am just going to unmake everything you've done. And it's basically destroying the map sections and all the skill points we've obtained. So if we tried to use a skill that was on one of those sections, basically stripping away all our abilities. If we try and use one of those abilities, it actually causes a stun animation, which slows this down a bit. So we don't want to do that as much as possible. in the blue section. It's kind of interesting, like, so obviously we are very weakened here. Ed has been skewered. We're very weakened. Worldless throughout this has sort of seen the compassion and started to understand how we've become what we've become, and is basically like, I think you should create the new universe. So that last white, the text on the white background basically says create. And Avon has been upgraded to his shiny form, which I love. This is my favorite visual in the game. I love shiny Avon. He's my favorite. All sparkly and godlike. So we've been given, to quote the genie, phenomenal cosmic powers. And we are going to create a new Big Bang. And by which, hopefully revive Edda. We genuinely don't know if that happens, so that's kind of sad. And that is Worldless. Sub 45, that's solid. I mean, other than the slight controller hiccup, that's really good. Yeah, bipolar didn't play nice again, Magma Man. It is what it is, though. Oh, it's DSJ. Right, okay. Sorry, DSJ. I was trying miserably to record. Oh, I just need a quick drink. And a yawn, apparently. Oh, my word. Can I just not get a clean, like, submission video? So my avatar crashed on Friday. My controller just disconnected itself for no apparent reason during that run on Tomberry of all creatures. Why did it have to be Tomberry? Just to spite me? Tomberry. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I managed to get such a good bipolar the first time round. Anyway, right, let's get my splits back up. That helps. Let's get a reset. Okay, let's give this one more point quickly. And have a quick drink. Let's have a sip of my drink. Yeah. I said, I don't know why it did it. It's been on charge for like the last 4 hours. It's not as if it hasn't been on charge. It's been on charge. It's been fine. Yeah, I don't know whether Tombury is technically the worst fight or the best fight that could have happened on. And now my avatar's being stupid again. This stupid webcam thing just picks. Why are you picking that up? That is like blue couch. What the heck? Right, let's just reset that. Bear with us a sec. I'm just getting rid of that. Yeah, just not responding. Oh, right. Yeah. Every now and then, like the webcam just decides, yeah, I'm gonna pick up something over on the to the my left that's completely obviously not a person. Like it's literally picking up. I've got like my couch is currently like a dark navy blue, and I'm wearing like a light grey jumper, and it's like, yeah, that dark blue thing over there is yours. Yeah, I need to put a sheet. I'm sitting on a couch though, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. It's just being stupid either way. Okay, right. I didn't mean to do, yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, right, we're back though. We're all back, we're all back, we're all back. Right, let's give it one last punt. Okay, right. Sorry, yawn. Oh, Magma, how does my microphone sound? Does the audio sound okay? Oh, are you doing it again, really? Are you doing it again, really? 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 Yeah. Why are you picking? Thank you. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, last one for all the marbles. Okay, ready to go. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, with a few peaks. Yeah, I literally got a new microphone like yesterday evening and haven't really had a chance to fix it properly. But we'll get there. Anyway, so uh, welcome to Worldless. I'm Lady Smaell, and this is my hopefully submission video for GDQ this next year. So we're just gonna get right into it. So we are in a universe that's newly born after a Big Bang like um, event, and with said event, two factions have been created. We have our lovely lady here, Edda, who's part of the blue faction, and the other faction is the orange faction, which you can sort of see in the background here. They're like fighting against each other. As we sort of move along through this little sort of tutorial area, we'll be able to see a couple of them a bit more clearly. But yeah, this is just the basic sort of, this is how you walk, this is how you jump, this is how you traverse. Like, this is basic platforming, getting you to grips with the feel of the game and how it handles. Nice big jump. So as you can see in the background there is a multi-armed entity, shall we say, fighting against someone else. We're just going to go up these steps. And we are going to run into our rival. So this gentleman is Avon. He is our rival throughout the vast majority of the game, and we're just going to let him beat him up. This is a cutscene fight, essentially. You can't beat Avon here. He's literally got hard coded in. You cannot beat him, so we're just going to let him beat us up. It's just the quickest way to end the fight. So as you might have noticed, this game's gimmick is that it basically has that Devil May Cry combo-based battles rather than just like a standard leveling up system. You have one-on-one fight with enemies. You have to get them to a point where you can absorb them, and then you absorb them and get a skill point. And so Avon's just tried to absorb us, and it's not gone well. We've sort of fused our beings, I think is probably the best way of putting it, and that fusion has basically sparked a creation event as such, and we are creating a new world, sort of. So this is the game map. As you can see, there's like a central hub area, and then there's like these branches that go out. So once all the gateways and stuff are unlocked, you can actually just run from one side of the map to the other. You don't actually have to use a central hub. But as we are in any percent, we don't tend to unlock all the gateways, so we have to come back to the hub once or twice. So this gentleman who's talking to us now is one of the old ones. And he's a little bit jealous that me and Avon have sort of done our weird fusion thing. But he does teach us a useful ability, which is the ability to basically resonate and interact with things. Basically calling us a kid here. And as you might have noticed, the language is in Chinese, and I am very clearly not speaking Chinese. That's because, like, as with a lot of speed games, Chinese and Japanese is faster because there's less characters, it's more concise, it just renders a bit quicker. So, is what it is. So this is just showing us how the map shows the objectives. The blue dot is ourselves, and then this orange dot is Avon, who we are now going to chase and try to figure out what on earth has just happened. So we are entering our first area. So this is the blue area. Sorry, the names are not very inventive because they're all color coded, so it's just easiest just to sort of use the colors to differentiate between them. And we're just going to run along. So we're going to come up to our first actual proper fight now where we interact. So this fight actually has a lot of focus on timing and precision with your attack. This fight's also the tutorial for the physical guard. So like Dark Souls and like the Soulsborne sort of games, it's got a heavy emphasis on blocking and parrying. More on the blocking, but it's all about timing and getting it timed perfectly. So if you time Edda's blocks perfectly, her shield doesn't degrade. But if you don't time them properly, it eventually degrades over time and will shatter. So ideally, we don't want it to shatter because it just slows things down, basically. So this is Moon. This is the magical block tutorial. You also might have noticed that it has a little symbols next to its absorption bar. I messed that up. So those sort of little symbols in the circles next to the absorption bar are shields that creature's got, and if you break them, it means that the amount of absorption damage you do is literally doubled. So ideally you want to break those blocks. So Avon obviously not being friendly to us, just blasting us and sending us to the bottom of this chasm. But at the bottom of this chasm there is something very useful. So this is our first movement technique in the game. So this is our dash. So obviously really useful. We get horizontal movement that's a bit quicker than walking. We get vertical movement, so we essentially get a double jump. Just obviously there's not as much control as a regular double jump. But it does allow us to get up and traverse. There is a little bit of a cooldown on it, so you've got to time your jumps well, as you just saw there. I kind of tried to dash a little bit too early. But for the most part, it's relatively small cooldown. So just do that sneaky jump there, get up here. So the gimmick of this area is it wants us to interact with these little lights with our resonate to create platforms, but we don't always have to do that. There's quicker ways to get up. You know where you're going. You don't need to use the platforms too much to slow yourself down. So I'm just going to keep dashing through this section. There's a few more people having a fight in the background. Dashing through the snow. Sorry, terrible joke. So, not all the enemies are fights. Some of them are literally just strewn around on the ground, already defeated. So, we can just pick them up by using our interact, which is really handy because fights, while they are fun, are kind of slow and we're trying to go fast. So, I'm going to pick up a little grey rectangle. So this little upgrade that I've just got is a time upgrade in our fights. So it gives us I think it's about an extra second per round in a fight, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it allows the majority of the fights to be doable in a couple of rounds. Whereas it sounds silly, but it really does make a huge difference. So with dash, we can get around a bit more. So we're now going to head to this area, the green teal area, which we call green path. As you notice, the graphics and the whole vibe of this game is very serene, and it's visually and orally, I can't English, very relaxing and just super duper chill. I mean, some of the fights can get pretty intense. Cool, that's good. So this guy's Araman. Basically just a little crab dude. See if we get lucky. Circle, just a little bit too slow. So, as you notice, I didn't get all the inputs there. That is because all the inputs are random and I don't know what they are. If they're question mark, I have not got a clue. And I am hoping and guessing that I get the right one. And sometimes you're just a little bit slow and it's like, you just miss it. And that's okay. It's like, obviously not ideal, but it's not the worst thing. So, gimmick of this area is got portals. So these little keystones will activate portals. That will take us over. So the game wants us to go up here, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to go across. So by not going up like the game wanted us to, we've actually missed an ability upgrade for Edda that we don't necessarily need, but it might become a bit detrimental later on. The upgrade we missed is the ice spell, and it's about 40 seconds slower to go and get it. And there are a few enemies that have it, but with the exception of one of them, you can kind of deal with it. But we'll come to the one we can't deal with it later. This is Fire Elemental. He's obviously a big fiery boy. See if we get lucky. Got lucky, nice. So, like I said, the inputs are random. You get a very limited time to do it, and sometimes it goes in your favor. I'm just going to go down here. Got lucky there, that portal caught me. That was really nice. So we're just going to head down here. Oops, missed that. Oops, the daisy, that's not good. So Edda doesn't like water. So the game just will respawn her on like a last landmass kind of thing. Just going to skip those portals there because they're a little bit slow. And then we're just going to boop through here and have a little cutscene with Avon. And then we are going to go get our next movement ability, which is Sprint. As it suggests, it's very fast. It's very fast. It's Edda's fastest form of movement. It's also really handy because it allows us to run across water, which, you know, makes water slightly less hazardous to her. But yeah, so that's good. So we're just gonna. So we've gone to literally to the left, the furthest point in this area, and now we're gonna go to literally the furthest point the other side of this area, as fast as we humanly can. There we go. Doing a little bit of jumping. So it's gonna enjoy the parallax scrolling back behind the background, and we're just coming up to another fight. This is kind of a cutscene fight, but it's not a guarantee when the cutscene will trigger. Fortunately, we figured out a way to make the cutscene trigger on this round rather than the next round, so that saves us about 10 seconds here and there, something like that. So that big green dude is Summon. He is this game's super boss, and his fight is really fun, really technical, but really fun. And hopefully, if the incentive gets met, I'll be able to show that fight off. So we're just running through this area. Unfortunately, this is the only time we see this area in any percent. We call it the tower. It's a very vertical base, but it's got a lot of fun platforming, a lot of fun enemies in. Some really cool enemy designs as well. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to come up to this enemy who's the wind elemental. So I'm going to use a technique here called animation cancelling, which allows me to spam magic. Normally that's got a bit of a cooldown. See if we can get there. Nice. That was all 4 inputs for the record. So he's a bit challenged. So a lot of the fight is very much a risk versus reward on, do you like wait the extra round, get the extra absorption and get the other extra input unlocked, or do you just go for it and hope for the best with the 2 inputs or something? Unfortunately, a lot of the time we have to go for the second option, where we've just got to kind of go for it and hope for the best. Although, admittedly, he has been treating me a bit kinder recently. Okay, so we've finally caught up to Avon. So there's 2 ways this fight can go. We can either fight Avon and reduce his health bar like most of the enemies, or we can just kind of talk it out, go the pacifist route. And the pacifist route is where we're going because it is a lot quicker. So if you do actually fight Avon in this cutscene's a little bit different. Edda will approach him with her sword drawn and try and skewer him. But, oh, Edda's gone. The wind of the water has taken her away, and now we are in control of Avon. So Avon's a little bit different to Edda. He doesn't have any dash or speed tech and like sprint, but he does have double jump, which is still really useful. Allows us to sort of stop taking like stun from a great fall. He's also kind of the reason we haven't used any skill points yet. So he's going to be our main fighter for the rest of the run, with the odd exception. We will be using Edda, but it's mostly going to be focused on Avon. So we're going to basically give him most of the abilities we want right now. Let's show you. So, because we've got Avon a little bit later into the game, where the game thinks we are, it's given us some abilities equivalent to what it thinks Edda should have. So we get Avon's second magic, which is the wind magic, which is very good at absorption, and his whip ability, which is incredibly good for absorption damage. So he is an absorption machine right now. We also bought some techniques. So these are things that you charge by fighting. Okay, so we do these physical attacks. I get that technique charge. He also does not have a shield like Edda does. However, he has the ability to deflect damage back as absorption damage. So we'll do a little bit more. That was not the best fight, but it'll do. There we go, and we've caught up to the lovely Edda. And because we've kind of accepted the fact that we've become this sort of combined being and transcended the world a bit more, the world's going to sort of expand. So with acceptance comes expansion, and we are opening up more of the world to play with. Also with opening up more of the world to play with, we've unlocked what we call the transcended bosses. So these are denoted by these green orbs. So these are basically the proper bosses of the game. And now we have control of both of our protagonists. So this obviously allows for some pretty slick movement. You can switch on the fly. This also is in battles as well. We can switch in on the fly in battles. There we go, and that's a really good fight. Go all the inputs. So you manage to fill the bar literally to 100%. It will instantly absorb the enemy. That's one of the few enemies you can actually get it on quite consistently. But it doesn't always happen. Just depends on how lucky you get with, or how skillful you are with your hits. So we're just going to get out of this area and head to our first transcended boss. So for this, we're going to go back to Green Path, and we're going to go fight bipolar/duality. So the transcended bosses are a bit like Avon and Edda. They've got a light component and a dark component. They're literally two beings fused into one. So it means you got to deal with all aspects of Edda's and Avon's magics and their own abilities and stuff like that. So it can get quite complicated in pattern reading, but hopefully we'll keep it quite straightforward. So we used to do this area second because going to the boss we actually go to second now yielded a movement technique for Avon, which allowed us to latch onto those little orange things. But you don't actually need it to reach this boss. It's a little bit slower, and I mean, it is minimally slower. Oh, I didn't think I'd made that. That was my fault. Okay. So, obviously, if you get it wrong, it's infinitely slower, but if you don't get it wrong, it's not that much slower. Maybe about 10 seconds. So we're just going to run along here. That's a good start. Okay. Okay. So again, we're getting back to the keystones. Okay, so kind of along here. So the game actually wants you to go down into the water and unlock some keystones, which we're not going to do because there's actually a back door into this boss. This has been patched out in the latest build of the game, but fortunately we're playing on the beta version, which has very kindly been left on Steam by the developers, who are really super awesome. So we're going to quickly buy some abilities for Edda, just to make her a bit more useful, even though Avon is like the primary fighter right now. Okay. All right. So this is duality. And I already messed this up. Okay, doesn't matter. Oh, boo, he gave us ice. So yeah, we don't want to see ice ideally, but it's not super important. Okay, that's fine. Oh, it's not fine because he just quit. Alright, we're going for it. X. Okay. So yeah, he can, because of the two different form swaps, ideally you want him to be on the light form as much as possible, but because Avon can definitely guarantee to break his blocks. But it is what it is. It's not the worst. Okay, so we're gonna head to the next boss, which is adaptation. So this boss is, yeah, he's a thing. So I don't know how many people are familiar with Super Metroid speedrunning, but they have a boss called Fantoon, and it is basically the run killer because it is pure RNG. What his pattern is. Adaptation is very similar in that vein. So this is where not having the ice spell potentially becomes detrimental, because he starts each encounter with 2 magical blocks and a physical block, and that magical block can be ice. Not guaranteed, but it can be ice. And that's only part 1 of his RNG. Once we get into the phase where we can absorb him, he has a potential to have a full magic shield or a full physical shield, and that's also completely random. Having a full magic shield is actually preferable to the physical shield, but we've devised a way to sort of work with both, but ideally you still want to see the physical shield. So yeah, he's RNG and he is a run killer, yeah, to be perfectly honest. He is a run killer. So we're just going to traverse with Avon. So, like in a lot of games, actually jumping in this game, just single jumping in this game is not actually faster. However, Avon's double jump is a considerable bit faster than just regular walking. So we try and use that when we can. When we can't use that, so we're just going to take on this enemy. So this is Root. I really like this enemy design. Did we get the 1 round? Nope. Not had much luck with the inputs today. Like, I'm not getting the 3rd one quick, it's just getting the 4th one quick. So this is the ability set that we sort of use in Green Pass generally. It's called Snatch, and anyone who's played Ori or Guacamelee 2 will absolutely recognize it. It is basically the bash / eagle shot ability that a lot of people use. I personally am more of a Guacamelee person than an Ori person, so I tend to call it eagle shot in my head. But yeah, absolutely, it is absolutely bash or that eagle shot. So it just fires us along, gives us a little bit of boost of speed, chucks us off the woods if we need to, like we do now. And we are going to head over to our next boss. So I want you to do some platforming and some snap use here, but we're not going to do that because we're lazy. We're speedrunners. We need to go fast. So I'm just going to quickly upgrade Edda. So we got her bow ability. So we're going to give her her bow technique, which is really, really useful. And with the green orb we got, I'm going to get something called Unified Division, which is an ability that basically shreds shields, and is giving us a lovely pattern. Amazing. That's really good. So hopefully we won't see adaptation's light form. That's the plan anyway. Okay, so this is unified division. That's what I wanted to see. Okay. Son of a bitch. Well, that's a reset. All right. Doesn't matter anyway. That's fine. That's depressing. Ow. Oh, fudge. My leg's hurting now. Okay. All right, let's go see who's on, who we can raid. I'm not bothering. Continuing. Let's see who's on. Excuse me. I know Gog's on doing some shovel night. Actually, I think I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not really feeling like being sociable. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop there. Um, just adaptation proven why he is the worst boss in the game. But hey ho, is what it is. But yeah, I will see you around. I think I can use the first one even with the controller disconnecting. So we'll roll with how it goes. Okay. All right, gang. I will see you on Thursday when I think I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna play something else. I don't know what. I know I was playing Puyo Puyo Tetris, but I don't really want to put that in. So I think I'll pick a new game. We'll go play something fun. Don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll figure it out. All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you around. Bye.